Okay, so I guess I'll just start. Well, this is day 1 of quarantine, I guess, and it doesn't really feel real yet. The other day we were sitting in 5th block listening to Mrs. Anderson say something about super PACs, when out of nowhere, the beep for the announcements came on. And suddenly the principal told us that they were going to be shutting down school because of the coronavirus for a month. It was so weird to listen to. They told us that at the end of the day we had to bring home all our belongings and make sure to bring home our Chromebooks because there would be online assignments. And then they told us that all extracurriculars, sports, music, theater, everything, were going to be canceled until further notice. I don't think Mrs. Anderson knew this was going to happen because she got pretty pale. And I didn't hear the rest of the announcement because kids were already talking about it. Some kids were taking bets on whether or not they just make our spring break longer. But other kids started crying because they'd missed their friends or because they'd missed sports or whatever. Which, I get that this is out of nowhere, but it's only for a couple of weeks. It's really not that big of a deal. You know, I know that this sucks, but it's only for a little while. In a few weeks, it'll all be back to normal and we'll get caught up on everything. Relax, people. Everything's gonna be okay.
Okay guys, we're in for a strange next few weeks or so, but we'll get through it. This is something totally unprecedented for all of us. I know it's going to be really hard and frustrating to be stuck at home, unable to see your friends every day or go to your practices to put on your performances, but the reality is this is what we have to do to get things back to normal as soon as possible. While we're out, I strongly recommend keeping a video journal of your experiences and your everyday activities during the quarantine. I think you'll be surprised at how good it can feel to actually speak your feelings out loud, even more than just writing them down. If you feel comfortable, you can share some of these recordings when we return. Stay safe, everyone.
So, Mr. B wanted us to keep this video journal during quarantine to keep us sane or something, and since it's already been 18 hours since I last left school for who knows how long, and I'm already starting to lose my mind, I guess now's as good a time as any to start. I'm feeling a whole lot. We found out Monday our class trip to Europe had been canceled. I'd been looking forward to that for over a year. My parents paid a lot of money for me to be able to go. We still don't know if they're going to be able to get that back yet. From there, it felt like literally everything I love was getting canceled. No theater, no choir, no anything. They say we're going back to school in April, but I don't know. Something tells me that's going to change. Senior year wasn't supposed to go this way.
Okay, so it is insane out there right now. My dad and I went to Woodman's and it's like the apocalypse. It took us 3 hours just to get our normal groceries and we couldn't even get everything we needed. It was so crazy. The whole place was packed. I mean, Woodman's is always a zoo, but it was like extra crazy today. I don't know, man. I think people heard about the school closures and decided the world was coming to an end or something, because people are out there with like 3 shopping carts with a canned food, bottled water, toilet paper. And we got in there and it was like people had completely flipped out, running through the aisles, shoving each other, grabbing like 6 of everything off the shelf. There was this one dude who had at least 8 or 9 of those jumbo packs of toilet paper. I'm not trying to judge or anything, but why do you need that much toilet paper? And people were getting so mad about the toilet paper too. And there was this kid who was working there who was trying to tell people to only take what they needed, but nobody was listening to him. I swear to God, somebody actually started booing him at one point. Like, who does that? People are animals, man.
It was a really bad day today. I work over at Walmart. They called me in to work an extra long shift today because they said they were going to be getting overrun with customers. I thought they were over-exaggerating, but I've never seen anything like it. People were horrible to each other, trying to squeeze their carts into aisles to throw as much as they can onto their ready huge piles of groceries, yelling at each other, some people shoving each other. It was like Black Friday, but instead of shoppers being full of holiday spirit, they were full of fear or something. I don't know. I was trying to keep up with cashing people out as fast as I could, but people were getting so mad because the lines were so long. I had one lady yell at me for forgetting to scan a coupon that she had for $1 off a box of cereal under like $300 worth of stuff she was buying. I had 2 or 3 people come up swearing at me because we ran out of something that they needed, as if I have any control over that. It's already been such a hard couple of days. Why do people have to be such jerks on top of all of that?
Why are people so stupid? I was just scrolling through Instagram, and there are at least 8 people I know that are just out, hanging out with friends like nothing's happening. Do you guys even read the news? I mean, okay, you probably don't, but do your parents? There is some serious end-of-the-world stuff going on right now, and literally all you need to do is stay home and don't contaminate other people. It's not that hard. It just makes me so mad. We get the musical canceled. We get sent home from school for at least a month, and people are just out having a grand old time like it's a longer spring break. I just want to smack them. God.
You know how when you've been watching Netflix all day and you keep getting those messages that come up and ask if you're still watching? Do you ever feel like you're being judged? It's like, no, Netflix, 8 episodes of the Great British Bake Off isn't enough for one day. Do you mind your own business? This has been the longest 3 days of my life.
It's really weird not being at school right now. I feel like I finally got adjusted to high school, and I was making a lot of friends in older grades through music and dance and stuff. And all of a sudden it was just over. We didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to our friends before they shut the school down. I just feel bad for all the seniors. I'm a freshman, so I've got plenty of time to get the full high school experience. But you only get one senior year, and this virus has really messed it up for them. I wonder if we're even getting yearbooks this year.
School doesn't start back up for a little while, and I've got nothing else better to do, so I've just been sitting here in my room, playing my guitar most of the time. It's pretty relaxing, actually. I mean, I'm bored, and I miss seeing people and stuff, but playing kind of puts me at ease. I've been working on a lot of stuff. Here's some Alice in Chains. And I'm the man in the box. Sorry, Mr. B. Won't you come down, save me, save me. It's pretty fitting, actually.
So basically, the update is that we're probably going to be out of school longer than April 13th, like they originally told us. The governor just extended school closures indefinitely, which sucks. That means we're probably not going back to school at all this year, right? How is that even going to work? I'm supposed to graduate in 3 months. Does that just not happen anymore? What about AP tests? Are we still able to take those? I can't just lose out on the college credit I was going to get. That'll put me behind next year. Are we even still going to college next year? God, this is so messed up.
So apparently schools might not open again at all this year. I mean, nobody's actually said that officially yet, but I think people kind of see that's where things are going. Man, I'm so pissed. Baseball season was just about to start. I really think that we would have made the playoffs this year. And it's my last season. Who knows if I'm ever going to get the chance to play again. And they've already been talking about postponing prom. But I guarantee if we're not going back to school, then prom's not going to happen. And that sucks too, because I was going to... I mean... Whatever. She's never going to see this anyway. I was going to ask Anna to go with me. You know, I had this whole big promposal planned out, and it was going to be perfect. And now it's like, who knows if we're ever going to be in the same room again, let alone go to prom, you know? I swear to God, Mr. B, you better not say anything about that.
Natasha keeps saying there's no way prom's gonna happen anymore, and I'm starting to think she's right. And I'm so mad about it. Me and my mom, we went out and we bought this expensive dress. And I know for a fact Owen was gonna ask me to go with him. We lose soccer. We lose the choir concert. We lose prom. How much more are we gonna lose? I'm so sick of it. I can't believe we have to give everything up just because a few people are getting sick. It doesn't even sound that bad. Okay, so you get a cough and sniffles or maybe even a fever. Deal with it. If I'm gonna get sick and go to prom, then it's like, come at me, coronavirus. I'm ready. I just want things to go back to normal already.
This pandemic has me feeling really scared and anxious, and I hate it. Every time I sneeze or cough, I'm terrified that I've caught the virus. The other day, I actually started to feel like I had a little bit of a sore throat, and then I got a big case of the sweats, and I thought I had a fever. I was telling my mom this, and she said she was going to take my temperature, and I started to have a panic attack. I didn't want to know what it was going to say. I was gasping for air and crying. It was really bad. Finally, she takes out the thermometer, and my temperature is normal. I guess I was just overheated because I was under like 3 blankets and a heating pad. I know that makes me sound stupid, but I'm just so scared that I'm gonna get the virus and there's gonna be nothing I can do about it.
Kaylyn really needs to chill on all the doom and gloom. My anxiety is bad enough already. I don't need updates every single time they update the infection numbers.
Some people just have a really hard time tuning out, I think. I see how bad things are at work. I don't need to come home and see it all over people's stories, too.
So things definitely feel like they're getting a lot worse than expected. I'm trying my best to keep up with the news while still pulling myself away when I have to. Because sometimes the negativity just gets to be a little too much to handle.
I know some people get annoyed. I get it. It feels like the only thing that's happening in the world right now that people want to talk about. And I know it can feel scary. But people should be scared. If you're not scared, you're not paying attention. This is serious. People are dying, and the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger. If we don't do something about it soon, hospitals are going to get overwhelmed, and it's just going to get worse. There's already a shortage of masks and gloves and respirators at hospitals, and this is only just beginning. You don't have to live in fear, but yeah, it's scary. People need to know what's happening out there, because if they don't, then they're just going to go out and make things worse. I try to raise awareness by sharing stuff in my story, because even though I've got a lot of friends who know how serious this is, there's still so many people who are like, it's just the flu, so what? Or who are still going out with friends, even though everything's closing down. I don't want to be annoying or anything. I just don't want my friends to get sick.
This morning, my mom went to go visit my grandma and take her some groceries. I wanted to go too, just to get out of the house and see someone other than my parents and siblings, but my mom told me that grandma's doctor told her she can only have one visitor at a time, even family, because she's at high risk for the coronavirus. I'm just trying to stay positive and keep myself busy. This is definitely the cleanest my room has ever been. It's hard to think of my grandma being stuck in her apartment all by herself. She doesn't know how to do video chats. I mean, she barely knows how to use her iPhone at all, so she doesn't get any face-to-face interactions. I just get really annoyed because this all really sucks, and I just want to hang out with my friends. But then I get guilty because at least I get to see my friends on FaceTime. Grandma's just stuck in her one-bedroom apartment all by herself. That's not good for a person. She's 81. She's seen a lot. I don't know. She doesn't deserve this.
We've still got more than a week left before online classes start up, and I don't really have anything else to do, so I've been tracking the stock market during the pandemic, because I'm a big numbers nerd. I got kind of interested in it because it just seems sort of weird to me that we measure a whole economy based on a few line graphs. I know it's more complicated than that, but think about it this way. Money's only worth what we say it's worth, right? A $20 bill is only worth $20 because we all just sort of agree it is. So what if we all just collectively agreed that a $20 bill is only worth $5? Would it still be worth $20? Or would we just start using it the same as a $5 bill because we decided that's what we wanted? So every day you get the news that the stock market is dropping by another 1,000 points or whatever, but what's stopping us from just sort of agreeing that we don't care what stocks are worth? Or even better, that all the stocks are actually doing great just because we say they are. We've got this whole system that's just based on nothing, really. The Treasury isn't sitting on enough gold to prop up the whole economy, and even if it was, gold only has value because we all agree it does. The whole system only works because we all believe it does, really. Because it's all we've ever known. So what's stopping us from believing in something different? Or maybe that's stupid. I don't know. I just feel like we could try out something new for once.
It's been a week since I last stepped foot outside my house. It's been really hard. I'm not doing so well. I'm pretty much alone the whole time. Both my parents work in hospitals, so they obviously can't stay at home. So I'm left with nothing but my thoughts, and that usually doesn't work out very well for me. I know I could go out and take walks at least, but I just can't work myself up to doing it. All the scariness of the last week just sort of has me frozen in place. I'm not even really the kind of person who needs a ton of social interaction anyway, but when I'm at home, I'm just not in my comfort zone. I never really have been. I don't really know why. Maybe it's because my parents work so much, or because we've moved around so much that I've never really gotten used to being home. All I know is that since I started school here last year and made a few close friends, it finally felt like I was actually somewhere I belonged. Not being able to go to school or see them is like having that ripped away from me. We've talked a bit over Snap since last week, but this is gonna sound stupid. I can't even keep up a conversation. I'm so drained, and I'm not even doing anything. The idea that I'm gonna be stuck here for God knows how long is just such a weight on my shoulders. And like, even though I really want things to go back to normal and I can see my friends again, it's almost harder for me to talk to them right now than it would be to just close myself off, because it's like a reminder of what I'm missing right now. I'm sorry I know I probably sound stupid and selfish. There's so many worse things happening out there right now that, in the grand scheme of things, this really shouldn't matter at all. My parents are both in hospitals every single day. They're gonna be right there when this really starts to hit, and I'm stuck here bitching about missing my friends when I can FaceTime them literally right now.
Aloha from spring break. Or it would be spring break if school were still a thing, which it isn't for another week yet. God, what a month this week has been. Well, gotta pass the time somehow. I'm just getting the party started with my friends here. So, cheers. I am so lame.
Chicago, Chicago. It's a city that's exciting. It's a city that's inviting.
Be quiet!
I'm so mad at my parents right now. I haven't seen Ryan, my boyfriend, since that last day of school almost 2 weeks ago. So all we've been able to do is snap or FaceTime. It's nice to talk to him, it's just not the same. I miss him so much. He's invited me over a bunch of times, and his parents are totally okay with it. But my parents won't let me go out to see anyone, even him. We've been fighting about this a lot. They've been like, "Oh, Lia, we know this is hard, but until this is all over, we have to stick with just our family so it doesn't get worse." And I know it's bad out there. Believe me, I do. But don't they understand that he is family to me? How can they not understand that? It's just so unfair. I've already lost so much, and now they're taking away the one person who can make this shitty situation a little bit better. I'm sick of just sitting here and doing nothing in my room all day. I'm barely allowed to go out and take the dog for a walk. I miss singing in choir and seeing my friends and sitting with Ryan after school as we wait for our rides and getting to spend all day with him on the weekends. This wouldn't suck so much if we knew when it was gonna end, but we don't. Am I even gonna get to see him before we go off to college?
So we finally start back up with class in just a couple days, and I am not ready. We still don't really know exactly what online classes are going to look like. Some of my teachers have already posted assignments on Google Classroom though, and I'm panicking. I was going through the assignments and it's like I've forgotten everything. I learned already. You know how you go on summer break and you get back in the fall and it feels like they have to spend the first couple months reteaching you stuff you should already know? That was me going through these worksheets. Like, what the heck is mitosis again? This is gonna be rough. Pray for me, Mr. B.
So these last couple of weeks have been really boring. It'll be nice to have some structure when school starts up again. But if there's a bright side, it's that I finally had enough time to work my way up to Diamond Tier in Rocket League. I was keeping track of how many hours I put in these last couple weeks, but after a while it got pretty depressing, so I decided to stop. After the first 100 or so, it just wasn't a good idea to keep checking. The downside is, Eli's usually my partner in doubles, but he hasn't been grinding nearly as much as I have, so now we're on totally different skill levels. We were playing earlier today and he kept getting whiff after whiff on his aerials. It was pretty embarrassing. You gotta feel for the kid.
Well, I'm grounded, which is kind of funny because we were all already grounded anyways, but now I'm for real in trouble grounded. Basically, I snuck out of the house last night to meet up with some friends and we just walked around the neighborhood and talked. It wasn't that big of a deal. We weren't doing anything bad. It's not like we were doing drugs or something. I was so sick of being stuck at home, and it had been 2 weeks since I last seen anyone outside of my family in person, and I was going crazy. So we decided that since online classes start back up in a few days, we should meet up before we start having actual stuff to do again. I thought I had it covered. I waited until my little sisters were asleep, and then I went downstairs to say goodnight to my mom and dad who were watching TV in the basement. Then I made sure my bedroom door was closed and I went out the side door. Well, I guess one of my little sisters woke up and went into my room to bother me or something. I don't know. Only I wasn't there. So they told my mom and stepdad, and that's when I got the angry phone calls telling me to get home right now. And when I got home, they started lecturing me about sneaking out, being out past curfew, being out with friends when we can get each other sick. I mean, none of us were sick. I don't see what the big deal is. So they decided to ground me. They were going to take away my phone, but then I made them feel bad because that's literally the only connection I have with the outside world if I'm stuck at home. So they just made it a point to tell me that I'm not allowed to leave the house under any circumstances for the next few weeks, which is what my life would have been anyway. So technically I'm grounded, which means quarantine is basically the same thing as being grounded, only you get to keep your phone.
So school is finally going again, online anyway, and there's finally some real order to my day. I do feel like I did a really good job of keeping up with studying over the last couple of weeks though. I set aside a couple hours every morning to review AP Calc and AP Bio, a couple hours in the afternoon to do reading for AP Lit, and to practice my oboe. I've also been setting aside time each evening to look for scholarships. I know we don't really know what the world is going to look like by the time late summer rolls around, but I figured I should just keep going as normal and make sure I'm getting my applications out there. But it is nice to at least finally have some new material to work on. I can only do the same kinds of practice problems so many times. It's going to be a bit of an adjustment, but I think I'm pretty ready for it.
I was not ready at all for school to start back up. A couple weeks just hanging out doing nothing, and now suddenly I have to get my life back into school mode. I'm nervous. For now it seems like things are going to be okay. Most of it is assignments on Google Classroom, and sometimes there's video lessons, maybe. I'm just worried about not being able to ask questions as easily as I would in a classroom. If I don't understand the assignment, how am I going to get help? I don't even have friends with me in the class to help out, so we're sort of all in this by ourselves. Good news is that we can kind of pace ourselves and do our work on our own schedules. But yeah, I knew this was going to be an adjustment, just not this big of an adjustment.
I'm actually feeling pretty good about this first week back at school. It's weird and different, yeah, but at least it's given me something to focus on again. Spending so much time alone, by myself, with only my thoughts was not helping me at all. But now, I have things to work on again, and people to hold me accountable. It's funny. I always liked going to school, because it was where I got to be with my friends, but I never thought I'd actually be grateful for homework. I am worried about my parents, though. The infection numbers keep rising and rising, every day, and it's only getting worse. I know I have other friends whose parents are still out working in all this too. It's kind of scary to think that there are all these people who have no choice other than to put themselves in harm's way, just to help the rest of us. I just wish there was something I could do about it.
God, as much as I hate school, I am so glad school's going again. I was spending so much time at Walmart and it was just getting so stressful. They just kept on asking me to come in and I was coming home in tears almost every day. So the day before school started back up, I just quit. I could not take it anymore. I'm a little worried about saving for college, yeah, but is it really worthwhile killing myself for barely over minimum wage while a bunch of people shriek at me about toilet paper and bleach? No way. So now I've got all this kinds of time to work on school, which means I should probably actually do my work, I guess. No promises, Mr. B. Kidding. Or am I?
Now that school's back in session, it gives me an excuse to stay huddled up in my room. My mom's been trying to get me to go outside and go for walks and get some fresh air, but I just can't bring myself to leave the house. I can barely even leave my room. I think she's worried about me, but every time I think about leaving the house, I freeze up. I get short of breath and I start to shake and I can feel my pulse speeding up. It doesn't help that everywhere you look, the news is talking about how bad things are getting out there. Hopefully, school can be a bit of a distraction.
I was kind of enjoying spending so much time by myself. I'm not trying to say that I don't like my teachers or my classmates or anything, but the last few weeks have been kind of calming. I know that's probably weird, considering everything that's going on in the world right now, but I guess I had taken for granted how important it is for me to take some quiet time to myself. Since school's starting up again, I won't be able to play my guitar quite as often, but I'm still making time for it every day. I'm even trying to write my own music. I mostly just do covers, but the more I sat around holding the guitar in my hands, the more I just sort of felt it coming out of me, if that makes sense. I don't know. I've never really been the best at school. I mean, I try hard and everything, but for some people it just comes so easy, and for me it doesn't. I mean, there are people out there who don't even have to study, and they come in and they get straight A's. But I feel like I have to work my ass off just to get better than a C. It's just nice knowing that I have something that I'm actually good at. Or at least something that makes me feel good. School's never been that thing for me. But, you know, practice makes perfect.
I thought things would get a little better once school started back up again because at least there would be a little regular interactions with actual people, but it just kind of sucks. It's just not the same getting assignments delivered in writing versus sitting in a classroom, you know? I feel bad for the teachers because they had to change up everything about their lessons in 2 weeks without any warning, and some of them have never done any online classes before. I think some of them are having an easier time than others, but even then, it's just not the same. I think part of it too is you lose some of the teachers' personalities. Like Mr. Chandler, he's always joking around with us in bio, and he's a lot of fun to listen to, but that just doesn't carry over into his writing, you know? And I'm still not entirely sure how gym's supposed to be working. You can only stay so active when there's a shelter-in-place order. So, there's that. I guess I have to deal with it because that's our reality now. But my grandma's doing well, all things considered. I'm sure she's just sitting around watching Dr. Phil reruns all day. I actually kind of envy her sometimes. At least she's not stuck in quarantine with my sister.
Oh my god, so the cutest thing just happened to me.
I'm sorry, I'm still just trying to process what happened.
So Owen and I are in the same psychology class, and he messages me on Snap and was like, hey, do you understand the readings for tomorrow? Because I don't understand and I don't want to bother Miss Martin about it.
I totally understood the readings. I'm acing the class. I just need to break the ice without saying something stupid.
So we video chat on Snap, and he's taken a whole lot of notes.
I just needed something to do with my hands because I was so nervous. I drew a duck, see?
We get through all of that, and then we start talking about random stuff, like how weird this whole online schooling thing is, and it sucks how much we've been missing. And then I say, God, it sucks so much that we're not going to have a prom. I bought this expensive dress and everything. And he says,
Well, it doesn't have to be. Man, that is probably the smoothest thing I have ever said. I've got the chills.
So I asked him what he meant.
So I tell her if she wants, we can have our own prom. You know, like a virtual prom. If she'd like to go with me, that way she can still have the chance to wear her dress.
I said yes.
She said yes.
This is going to be the weirdest prom ever. I'm so stoked.
Boom! Let's go!
So, my dad got some bad news a couple days ago. He wasn't feeling very well last week, and it kept getting worse. He kept trying to say it was nothing, but finally we convinced him that he needed to go see the doctor because all the symptoms look like the virus. He was coughing a lot, he had a fever for a bit, he was even complaining a little about being short of breath. We weren't sure if he'd be able to get tested at all because testing supplies is still so short, but he's lucky because he's immunocompromised already because he just recently had surgery. Kind of weird he's lucky in that situation. So, because he had the symptoms and because he's immunocompromised, he got tested. And it came back positive. And now, everything around here changes. He has to stay in his own room pretty much all day and wear a mask all the time, but there aren't enough masks to go around, so my aunts have been sewing special ones. And we aren't supposed to use the same bathroom, but there's only one that's a shower, so that's kind of hard. So we have to disinfect everything all the time. And I've been making him his meals and knocking on the door and leaving them on the floor so he can get up and pick them up himself. My aunt said I could come stay with them, but the doctor said because I've already been exposed, I have to quarantine myself with everybody else in our family and avoid possibly spreading it to anybody else. It's really hard. I feel like a ticking time bomb. I have no idea if I have it or not. I have no idea how my dad is going to be. He's been doing well enough that he doesn't have to be at the hospital, but it's scary. It's really scary. I've been staying informed. I knew how bad this all was and how much we needed to take it seriously. I just never thought it'd actually touch me like this. I'm scared.
Kaylyn just messaged me and told me that her dad tested positive for the virus, which is awful. She says he's in good spirits and that the doctors feel pretty positive, but it's still scary, you know? I've been so worried about my parents bringing it home, but this is the closest it's actually come to me so far. I feel so bad that I've been so worried about myself. And now a good friend of mine is dealing with it right in her home. I really want to do something to help cheer her up and show her we're all here for her.
Kel mentioned yesterday that Kaylyn's dad had the virus and she was trying to think of something nice we could all do for her. She thought it would be nice if we all sent DMs with get well wishes, and that gave me the idea for something a little bigger. I've already finished up all my homework, so I bought up a domain real quick and set up a website. Basically, the idea is that anyone with an email from our school can log on and send get well cards to anyone who has the virus or whose family member has the virus. Or just messages of support to people who are having a hard time right now. It was pretty easy, really. I didn't even have to do much of the coding myself. It was all just WordPress templates and plugins. It only took me a couple of hours. I told Cal when it was up and she seemed to like it, so glad I was able to help.
George's website is actually dope, and it was really nice of him to do that, because honestly, I don't know that he's ever even talked to Kaylyn before. I don't think he really talks to anybody, actually. But it was nice to see something positive happen, even with all this shit.
People are already starting to use that website George set up. So cool. And no one's even using it to troll anyone yet. Maybe there's hope for humanity after all. You know, assuming we make it through the apocalypse.
Today's the day we were originally supposed to go back to school. It's been a month since they shut school down, and we were all supposed to go back today, and we were supposed to go back to all our normal activities, and we were supposed to see our friends and teachers, and everything was going to be normal, and this was all going to have just been a weird bump in the road on the way to graduation. But I guess things don't always work out like they're supposed to. I was still trying to hold on to a little bit of hope that maybe things would have gotten better by now, that we'd be back at school and could put all this behind us, but we still haven't heard anything about when this could all end. This is going to sound really selfish and stuck up, but I miss feeling important, I guess. I'm going to be valedictorian. I'm pretty well liked. My teachers love me. I practically live at school because I'm in so many clubs. Now I've spent pretty much an entire month at home, and it's different. I think the reason I put so much of myself into school is because it feels good to be recognized. I don't get that a lot at home. My brother lettered in 3 sports and was all state in 2, and now he's playing baseball at Texas. And it was always about him. I tried to play softball for a bit to try to be like him, but it just wasn't my thing. And I think it kind of pissed off my parents when I quit. My brother was the first in my family to go to college, and it's because he's a big-time athlete. And it was a huge deal when he did it. And I mean, it should be. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. But sometimes it feels like nobody outside of school cares that I worked my way there too. And I did it my own way. And now I don't even have school anymore. Not really, anyway.
School is fine, life is whatever. I'm just bored out of my mind. It's past the point of missing seeing people. I feel like a part of my identity has been erased by just sitting at home for a whole month now. And it's now been a whole month since the last time I saw Ryan in person. I tried to argue with my parents to let me go over there, have him come over here, but it's no use. I try and tell them that if one of us were to get sick by now, it probably would have already happened, but they don't budge. We're technically still under the stay-at-home order for another couple weeks now, and if my parents love anything, it's following the rules. It still sucks, though, seeing all the milestones come and go that I'm missing out on. But what hurts the most is not only do I not get to experience them with Ryan, I don't even get to not experience them with him. We're still trying to keep in contact through FaceTime, but with our lives being so boring, it's hard to have anything new to talk about. We'll make it work somehow.
I've been going back and reading through some of the messages on George's website, and it got me thinking. I haven't really left my room over the past month other than to get food or to use the bathroom. I've been just sitting here, scared of getting sick or of what would happen if I decide to leave. My mom gave up trying to get me to do something. She'll come in occasionally and look really sad, but she won't say anything about it. But reading all those messages to people who got sick and seeing how thoughtful people were being, I don't know. It affected me, I guess, like all these people who are sick. And I know some of them that have people supporting them and caring for them and wanting for them to get better. They're all probably being careful not to get sick, but it happened anyway. I've been so scared, anxious over the past month that I've kept myself holed up in here. And I keep sinking deeper and deeper into depression, and I feel like crap. And even staying in can't keep me completely safe. My mom still has to go to work. She's considered essential. So who's to say she's not going to get the virus and bring it home to me? And that's scary to think about, but I just can't keep wasting away in here for however long this lasts. There are people who are actually sick, who have no choice but to stay inside and in their beds when they do anything to still enjoy the little freedom we've got. I'm going for a walk.
We were coming up on what was supposed to be prom day. People were hoping we'd be back in school by then, but that's not looking likely. When this first thing all started, they announced that prom was going to be postponed. But now I think we can pretty much assume it's going to be canceled entirely. It does kind of suck. Only juniors and seniors are allowed to go. Any underclassmen have to be invited. So it's a little more intimate than homecoming. And the juniors are the ones that get to be on the court. So my class might not even get a prom court. I was thinking about running for court too. Some people told me they thought I have a pretty good chance. I guess I don't really care about it that much, but... Or at least I didn't think I did. But now that it's coming up, it's just one more reminder of something we're missing out on. My parents are being cool about it though. I already asked Kayla from Bio if she wanted to be my prom date, and we were planning on going. My parents are letting me have her over, and we're going to get takeout and watch movies and stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. We're just friends. We're just going as friends. It's just, I hardly seen anyone other than family for over a month now, and I think my parents just kind of feel bad for me, to be honest. So, even though it's not prom, at least it'll be something special. Not special, just special. given the circumstances.
Prom was supposed to be next weekend, and now that it's getting close, a lot of the other juniors are talking about it. Somebody actually started an online vote for people to vote for prom court, since we never actually got to do it in school. So now everybody's talking about that. It's kind of annoying. I never really got the big deal about prom. I feel like it's just a way for rich kids and their families to show off. I mean, you get girls spending hundreds of dollars on dresses they'll only wear once, and guys spending hundreds on tux rentals. Like, it's prom. It's not your wedding. Some groups get limos or do fancy dinners or even hire professional photographers. It's crazy. I can kind of get why some of the kids would be excited about it, because at least there's an actual event for them to go to. But what's really weird is how big of a deal the parents make out of it. They all talk it up as a night you'll remember forever and a huge moment in high school, and they're all practically sobbing at pictures and stuff. And half the time it's the parents that make all these dinner and limo and photography plans to begin with, because it's like some kind of status symbol to them. But then I can't say this stuff to other people because I'm a killjoy, or I'm just bitter because I'm not cool enough to go with the right people, or whatever it is they want to say. And it's whatever. Maybe I'm not cool. Who cares? Or maybe it's just that I'm not privileged enough to go have parents who want to spend hundreds of dollars on me just for a night to take pictures of me to put on their Facebook so they can brag to Karen and Bill about how grown up and impressive I am. So yeah, that's what I think about prom. Sorry to be a killjoy.
All the older kids are suddenly getting all excited about prom again, even though it's canceled. This online prom court voting thing has really blown up. It's unofficial. At least, I don't think the school has anything to do with it. I don't know anything about this stuff. I'm too young to go to prom still anyways. I mean, if prom still was a thing and someone did invite me, I wouldn't be able to go anyways. I'm still grounded for another week, which includes next weekend, which would have been prom weekend. It took them long enough, but my parents finally figured out that me being grounded while quarantined didn't really mean anything. So instead of taking away permissions, they've had me doing extra stuff around the house. It's not that bad. Most of it's stuff I do anyways, like extra chores. But they also said I wasn't taking the virus seriously enough. So they wanted to find a project for me related to the coronavirus. So I started writing letters to old people in nursing homes and assisted living. It was kind of a drag at first because I don't know any of these people and no one really writes letters anymore. But I guess they really love it. Some of them even write thank yous back, saying how nice it is to hear from someone. I guess they're really lonely. I told Sonona about it, and she thought it was pretty cool.
My grandma's been in assisted living for a few years now. And, you know, assisted living is for a pretty wide range of old folks. Some don't need much assistance at all, but others need kind of a lot. Shyann told me about how she's been writing to nursing homes, and it got me thinking. I don't really have all that many hobbies, and I've been feeling kind of useless this last month or so. But I can at least write some old people. So I got a list of names from my grandma and sent some letters out to all of them. I was really surprised by how big of a response it got. My grandma called and said that people were so happy and it made them feel really good. I guess a lot of them have been really lonely this last month or so. I'm not really a touchy-feely person, but that felt nice. It made me realize it's easy to get caught up in all the crap we're dealing with, but lots of people out there have it a lot worse than we do, you know?
It's actually kind of a good thing prom isn't happening this weekend anymore because I've got a couple tests and a project this week and I am not doing well. Your girl is stressed. Remote class is hard enough, but having to take on tests and projects and all that without actually having been in school for almost a month and a half now, it's harder than I thought it would be. And I thought I was doing well for a while, but then we got some review assignments in a couple classes, and then I realized I didn't know anything actually, and now I'm freaking out that I'm going to fail all these tests and look really stupid. And I haven't even started on my English project yet. I'm sorry, Mr. B. We're supposed to be comparing and contrasting any 3 books that we've read this semester, and, like, okay. I'm probably never gonna actually show you this recording anyway, but if I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I've only actually fully read one of the books that we've been working on, so kind of screwed there. It's a lot. And hearing about all these people getting hospitalized, I think about just all of my friends know at least a couple people who've had the virus by now, and a lot of us even know people who had it pretty bad. Sometimes I wish the school would just have mercy on us and well, you know that one part in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets where they're all celebrating Harry closing the chamber and all the people come back after drinking the mandrake potion and Dumbledore's all like, oh hey, by the way, all your exams are canceled, and then Hermione's just devastated because she's a suck-up who actually does her work? Well, I feel like that's the sort of thing that should have happened with this coronavirus, if you feel me. But I guarantee you we will still have our finals because real life sucks.
So prom was supposed to be 3 days from now, and it sounds like the results from that prom voting go live on Friday. It'll be funny to see how that turns out, because I guarantee some people have messed with it. I'm sad I'm not able to go and everything, but at least I got to go last year. It's really not the worst thing to be missing out on, honestly. I'm just gonna chill, read, maybe watch a movie. What I am excited about is something Anna just told me the other day. Apparently, she and Owen have been planning this virtual prom thing for just the two of them, which is adorable. I don't know why she kept it a secret for so long. I think she was worried people would think it was lame, but I think it's cool. It's nice to see people looking forward to something, because life is just so boring these days.
It's a bit of a bummer there's no prom happening this weekend, but it's not that big a deal. You've been to one dance, you've pretty much been to them all. It does kind of suck to miss out on a chance to see people, though. I'm not really the most social person. I hang out with people every now and then, but I've always spent a lot of time alone. There's a lot of stuff I like to work on. I've got a real sweet Minecraft world. I read a lot. Mostly biographies and journals and stuff. There's some social stuff I miss about school. I miss playing chess with people after school. I miss some of the teachers. Prom is fun and all, but it's not that big a deal. It's kind of funny how seriously some people take it, though.
God, if I ever have to hear anything else about prom, I'm going to puke. Honestly, I don't care about your stupid dance. I don't care about the stupid fake court. You go on Instagram and Snapchat and literally everyone's stories are just about them begging for votes. It doesn't mean anything. I'm so heated. I'm just telling everybody I know to go vote for Shelby because at least she's funny and she cares just as little about it as me. That's all I need for somebody to win my vote.
My dad is going to be okay. It was bad for a while. He was almost completely isolated at home for a full couple weeks. But he got up for a follow-up appointment with the doctor and everything's looking really good. He's feeling like himself again. I've cried a lot the last couple weeks. I sort of just removed myself from everything except school. It's been really hard. But this was the best news I've had in so long. My dad is going to be okay. I just went back on a Snapchat and Instagram for the first time today in a couple weeks, and everyone everywhere is talking about prom, which is definitely not happening. Also, I just got a text from Cara telling me to vote for Shelby for this weird court thing that somebody started. I never thought Cara would care about prom, but sure, why not? I'm in too good of a mood to question it.
I got messages on 3 different platforms from Cara asking me to vote for Shelby and to tell others to do the same. I've said like 3 words to both Cara and Shelby in my life, and I really don't care about prom at all. But it is kind of annoying how much people are caring about this, so yeah, I'll throw my vote in for Shelby, just because I don't think she cares at all. I respect that.
So, I have no idea who's running this online prom court vote, but apparently Kara's out there hustling to try to get people to vote for me, which would be pretty hilarious. I don't know how many people are actually voting, and I guarantee you whoever started this thing is going to put out whatever they want the results to be anyways. But props to Cara for being able to fight the system.
So the results of the unofficial prom court came out, and I was in there. Of the 8 guys and 8 girls, I was one of the guys that got voted on. It's really nice, actually. Some people treated it like a joke, and other people went totally gung-ho on campaigning, but it's nice to have some normalcy. You know, we got to vote on a prom court, even if we didn't really get to have a prom. At least that's something. But it's funny to think about things being normal. When all this started, I thought it was gonna last for a couple weeks, but then everything was gonna go back to normal. And we're a long way from that now. At first, normal was like, maybe we'll get back in time for the golf season to still be going. And that ship has definitely sailed now. We don't know how long these lockdowns are gonna last, and even when they do end, do things go back to normal? I was talking to my dad the other day, and he told me how all this sort of reminds him of 9/11. There are a lot of differences, obviously, but when 9/11 happened, everyone just sort of knew that life had changed forever. The way things were was never going to be the same. And that's sort of how everything with this pandemic feels. Whatever normal was before this, it's never coming back. And it's too soon to know what the new normal is going to be. I've been thinking about that a lot these last couple of days. This is a weird time for me, you know. I'm 17, I'm sort of an adult, and I'm going to be going to college soon, and when I do, I want to get as far away from here as possible and experience life of my own, meet new people and experience new things, but I guess I'm still a kid, even if I don't feel like one anymore. I've changed so much since 2 years ago. 2 more decades is like, it's impossible to comprehend. When all this started, I didn't take the virus all that seriously. I really treated it like a vacation, actually. I played a lot of video games, and I slacked off on all of my studying. I'm still getting A's on most of my tests and stuff, but I just sort of thought it was all going to be over soon. And here we are now. I just wonder what kind of person I'll be when I'm my dad's age. He was a lot older than me when 9/11 happened. He was in his mid-20s, but he says the way he looks back on all of it, and the way it shapes his worldview, has changed so much since the day the towers fell. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I wasn't alive then, and I really have no idea how 9/11 would have affected me. But I wonder how the world 20 years from now is going to look back on all this. And what kind of person I'll be then.
God, Alex got voted on? This is bullshit.
I guess I fell short of the votes I needed to get on the fake prom court. But at least we'll always have the bees.
Today's the day.
I feel like I'm forgetting something. We've put in the takeout order. We've got drinks. I just hope my mom and sister stay out of the way because they're probably going to be nosy.
I don't really know what to expect, but it's really nice to have something to look forward to and get excited for. I can't even remember the last time I wore jeans, let alone wore a dress.
My parents finally gave in last night. They're letting me go over to Ryan's house to hang out since it would have been prom. I seriously cried when they said yes. I'm so excited.
I know we're not gonna be in the same room. There's no way Hannah's parents will let that happen. But, we're gonna make it a fun time anyway.
It's gonna be kind of awkward, but who cares?
we're not getting dressed up or dancing or anything, but there's going to be an actual real person from my school at my house. And it's a girl, so that's pretty cool.
We're kicking this thing off at 8. Wish me luck, Mr. B. If you ever see this, which you won't because I'm definitely never showing this to anybody.
8 p.m., just 6.5 hours from now.
7 o'clock, can't get here soon enough.
She's getting here around 7. My mom said she could stay till 11. So I just can't say or do anything dumb for 4 hours. I can do that.
That was the stupidest, best idea I ever had.
Oh my god, my face hurts from laughing so much. That was so fun. It's been almost like 2 months since I've actually hung out with any one of my friends or talked to anyone face to face for more than like 20 minutes. I missed it so much.
I feel like it went really well. You know, we talked for a while, and I started playing some tunes, busting out some dance moves. She thought it was hilarious.
That boy cannot dance at all. And then he made frozen pizza and generously offered me a slice.
Apparently she doesn't like sausage, which shows really poor judgment on her part. But that's just something I'm gonna have to get over.
That was so much fun. I missed having fun. But it was also sad because, you know, it wasn't real. Our prom was canceled, and that sucks. But you know, I'm wrong. It was real. No, that was the realest thing I've had happen to me in however many days that we've been stuck in quarantine. Owen had this whole thing planned out, and he was so happy about it. And that was really cool. I've spent so much time being bitter and whining about all the stuff that we didn't get to do. And he's out here making the most of it and being a goofball and having fun the whole time. This whole quarantine thing, it's temporary. Who knows when it'll all be over? Am I really gonna care in like 30 years that I didn't get my senior prom? God, I hope not. But I'm definitely gonna remember this.
It feels kind of like Christmas when the day's coming to an end and you're like, okay, now what next? You've been looking forward to it for a really long time. There's sort of like this letdown. But man, it was fun. Now I just gotta hold out hope we'll be able to hang in person sometime soon.
It went well. Well, I mean, my mom was really annoying. She kept having to change loads of laundry. But it's like, Mom, I know for a fact the laundry machine cycle takes longer than 20 minutes. But it was cool. We talked, we watched a couple of movies. I actually got to sit next to a live, breathing human being who wasn't my blood relative. And yeah, it was great. It just kind of sucks that we have to go back to normal now. Did I just call quarantine normal? Oh God, this does really suck.
I'm still trying to process what happened last night, and saying it out loud might be what I need right now. I don't know. My parents dropped me off at Ryan's at 7 like we planned. We had pizza and we're watching a movie, but there was just this really weird energy. He wasn't saying much of anything. It seemed as if he wasn't as excited to see me as I was to see him. At some point during the movie, I put my head on his shoulder, and he didn't even put his arm around me or anything. So I just straight up asked him what was wrong. He, got mad at me for asking, which was even weirder. he was like, why would something be wrong? What are you talking about? And I said how it felt like he was mad at me, and he called me paranoid. And I don't know, it's all so hazy now. But then we started to fight, and we've like never fought before. And he started saying how he just wasn't into it anymore, that after almost a month apart, he didn't miss me that much, which is such a messed up thing to say to someone. And then he was saying how he'd been thinking about it for a while now, but didn't want to do over Snap or FaceTime. And I don't know, I started crying. I was a mess. At some point, I called my dad to come get me, and I went outside and sat on the porch until he got there and cried. Ryan didn't come check on me once. I've spent all of quarantine wanting nothing more than one night with him, and now it's just over after almost 2 years, and I still don't know why or what I did or... I've spent all of quarantine mad at my parents because they wouldn't let me go see him, and depressed because we couldn't be with each other, and he didn't even care about me. I feel so stupid. There are people out there who are sick and dying, and I'm crying over a stupid boy who dumped me. God, I'm pathetic.
We've only got about 4 weeks left of the school year, and by now, we know what a lot of us suspected from the beginning. We're not going back. Not until at least the fall, anyway. It's officially official. They're still trying to figure out a time where we can come in and get any things that we may still have left in the school that we haven't picked up already. I'm doing okay. Isolation is hard for me, but I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Some of the restrictions have started to lift. My parents have actually let me go see friends twice now. I think they're still nervous about it, but they saw me struggling. We had a good talk the other night. I never really told them how alone I felt before. They're always at work, and with it just being me here at home, it's not always good for me. I told them how going to school helps. I feel like I actually have a support system there. I think that hurt them, but they weren't mad. They told me they love me and will always support me and want to do better. It felt so nice to just talk and be open. I still think the rest of this year will have more downs than ups, but summer's coming, and I think there's hope that maybe the worst of this is all finally behind us. It's nice to be able to think about the future with some positivity.
I've been studying a lot. More than usual, I mean, because we're going to be taking AP exams this week and next. They moved them online this year because of how many schools aren't going back to regular session. I'm not worried. I'd take them right now if they'd let me. Then I could just relax and focus on, fun learning for the next few weeks until the school year ends. I've got a lot of spreadsheets to catch up on.
I am freaking out. I have 3 AP tests coming up, and I feel like I've done everything I can to prepare for them, but it's just so hard with the way the school year got messed up. I feel like I'm not nearly as prepared as I was last year. And what if I bomb them? I just got accepted to Eau Claire last month, and I'm all set to go there, but are they going to, suddenly decide I can't go if I don't get good scores? Breathe, Brie. You got this.
My first AP tests ever are over with, and it wasn't nearly as scary as I thought it would be. I worked really hard over the last month to get caught up and adjust to online school, and it was really tough at first, but I think I'm going to end up with decent grades and some pretty good AP scores, so not too shabby. It's weird to think that the school year is going to be over with in a couple weeks. It feels like we've been in quarantine forever now. I haven't really been thriving, but I'm getting through it. That's about as good as I can ask for.
Sometimes when I'm having a bad day because I'm lonely or bored or scared about what's happening in the world, I go back and look at the website George put up, and look through all the nice messages people left for me when my dad when he was sick. It's a reminder to myself that I have people who care about me. Even if they don't come right out and say it all the time, or even if I feel like I'm alone, I'm not. I need that every now and then. But I saw people leaving messages for Miss Anderson. I guess she's been sick too. I don't know how bad it is, but if it's anything like what my dad went through, I know how hard it is. I'm gonna write a message for her now. She's a really good teacher. She cares about us a lot. She deserves to know that people care about her too.
School's exams are coming up in a few weeks. I think I'll do okay. I still get a little confused by math, but I'm trying to get as much extra help as I can. I was wondering the other day what the kids in music class must be doing. I mean, in band and choir, what do you do when you can't play with a group? I never really thought about that. I mean, you're not playing concerts or anything. Maybe they're sitting at home, practicing, like I am. I used to think it was lame. Music class. I mean, in school. Like band and orchestra and stuff. It's for nerdy kids, that sort of thing. But I guess I think different now. I mean, I've spent the last 3 months with my guitar, playing music and stuff. I'm never been in a band before, or anything. I'm a little too much of a loner to go out and try and get people to join a band with me. But it's still really important to me, you know? And for those who do sing in choir or play in a band, it must be really important for them, too. And they can't do it right now. I mean, for me, sitting at home playing is what I always do, just... But for them, it's just not the same at all. They sing and play together, and they put on concerts, and they perform for people, and it makes them happy. Maybe I'll join music next year. That might be fun.
I woke up early this morning and took a really long walk. It's been so nice out lately, it feels like summer's almost here. I've never really been the type of person to go on walks. I mean, I like to sit outside and read, but that's as far as I go for outdoor activities. But for the past month or so, I've been forcing myself to go outside and get some fresh air. And I think it's really helped me to cope. At first, I started out small. I would go around the block or down the street and back. I would get really nervous whenever I'd pass another person on the street, but I'd find myself holding my breath until we were 6 feet apart. But I soon realized I wasn't afraid to go outside anymore. And now I'm walking everywhere. Today, I walked by the Little League towards the lake, and then down by the water treatment plant, and then back up and around through the park and back home. I was gone for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. I don't know. I wasn't keeping track. And hardly anyone was out yet. The sun had just come up. It was a little chilly, but it warmed up once I was about like halfway through. There were so many birds out. I think the birds have been happier, which is kind of ironic, I guess, when you think about how stressed out people have been. Maybe I'm just paying more attention because there's not really anything else going on at the moment. But they were singing and chirping their hearts out this morning. there was dew all over the grass, and there were some butterflies in the field by the Little League. The leaves had that early morning glow on them where the sun was hitting them, and there were flowers blossoming all over the place, especially in the park. It was so peaceful. There were signs of hope everywhere. And then I had my first sighting of the day of someone wearing a mask. It's scary that no one knows how long this is going to last, but I get home from my walks and I see my mom and she smiles at me. There's still so much to be thankful for.
Freshman year is almost over. I like to think I've learned a lot, but maybe not quite in the ways I expected coming into this year. I think the biggest thing that I've learned this year is how much of a difference you can make just by doing something nice for someone. Like writing the letters to the old people in assisted living and nursing homes. That felt really good. But I bet it felt even better for them. I think I sometimes take my friends for granted, and I can be mean to them, sometimes for no reason at all. But like, when this is all over and we see each other again, gosh, I'm gonna hug them so hard and maybe even cry. And I'm gonna try to be as kind as much as possible. Except when they deserve some attitude.
I've never really been the best person with words. I get nervous when I have to talk in front of large groups. So I kind of thrived with online class because it felt like I didn't have to answer questions in front of everyone. But it's weird. I've actually started to miss social interaction, which is just totally not me. The other day, actually, I volunteered to go to the grocery store with my mom, which is weird for two reasons. A, I hate stores, and B, I try not to spend more time with my mom than is necessary. But then we get to the cash register, and I start, making small talk with the checkout person. My mom looked at me like I wasn't even her child. It's kind of funny. I don't know if this means that quarantine's changed me, or if I've just finally completed the process of going insane over these last 3 months. But hey, it's something.
This is my second to last week of my senior year of high school. It's so weird. I mean, it's pretty much over anyways. I don't have any exams left to take because I already had AP exams and I exempted the only one I have left. So I'm not studying or doing schoolwork or anything. I'm just here, waiting. Now what I'm waiting for, I don't know. They said they're hoping for a graduation ceremony for sometime in July, but who knows? I'm trying not to take anything for granted anymore. Senior year didn't end up the way I thought it would. Definitely not the way I wanted to. I spent 3.5 years waiting for all these senior traditions that didn't even end up happening. All because of what? Some virus that started halfway across the world? But I think I've made my peace with it. I'm so lucky. Not everybody else was so lucky. Nobody in my family got sick. I've got college to look forward to in the fall. And I might even have a chance at a normal summer. And Owen is still cute.
Summer's here, man. I mean, I know the summer solstice doesn't really happen for a few weeks yet, and we're still in school, but it's here. Go outside, there's that humid summer smell. Really makes me miss baseball. But summer's here. That means anything's possible. Going to college in the fall. Never gonna have a real summer ever again. This is my last chance to be a kid. I mean, may not technically be a kid anymore, but after 3 months of social distancing, I'm ready to get the boys together and play some kick the can like we're 10 years old again. I mean, Anna could play too if she wants. Might even go easy on her. Maybe. Well, there's nothing better, Summer nights, hanging out with your friends, cracking jokes, making fun of each other, talking to girls, go inside, grab some snacks, watch some movies, stay up late, go on a drive because there's nothing else to do, pack as many people into your mom's minivan as you can. And then suddenly you realize it's 2 a.m. and you're supposed to be home at least an hour ago. But you laugh it off and decide to make a quick run through the Taco Bell drive-thru before you start heading back. I just hope we get the chance for a normal summer again, because that's all I want. I'm gonna miss it so much.
This year was pretty whack, but, we made do. My folks are bugging me about getting a summer job, which is how you know things are maybe starting to go back to normal, because for months it felt like they've been doing nothing but trying to protect me from the outside world. I'm just glad I got one more year left, because that would have been a rough way to end high school. Sorry, seniors.
It's really starting to hit me that a lot of my friends are going to be leaving soon. So I was talking with Lia yesterday and was saying how we just got one final week of school left. And then it just hit me that this is it. She's going to be gone next year. I've never had high school without her. She's always been there in choir and everything, and next year won't be the same anymore. Who's supposed to get all the solos? It just made me realize one more time of how much we've all had taken away from us. Me and my friends, we didn't get to spend time in school and in activities and stuff with the seniors we've gotten to know over the last 3 years. Feels like we've been cheated. Me and Kayla didn't turn out to be anything, but if we were seeing each other every day in class like we would normally have been, who would have known what would have happened there? And now she's leaving this fall too. So, I guess I'm kind of sad about that today. But I've got 1 year left. And hopefully I can make it a good one. Can't let 2 years in a row end on a bad note.
So things are finally starting to open back up, and it seems like everyone's talking about things going back to normal. But what exactly normal is, I guess we'll just have to see. All I know is if this virus comes back in the fall and starts messing with my senior year, I'm gonna get really pissed. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna try to take things one day at a time. It's all we've really been able to do these last few months with this virus, and I've gotten pretty used to that philosophy. So, might as well stick with it, right?
This would have been the last day of exams for seniors if the coronavirus had never come in and stolen our senior year from us. I know, I've been really lucky to stay healthy. I know some people that got sick and some that had family members that had to be hospitalized. Trust me, I've been lectured by my parents about it enough times, and I'm fully aware that I've been very fortunate. But as I was sitting here today, I realized something. I never got to say goodbye to any of my teachers. I never got to say goodbye to any of my friends. Sure, it sucked to lose prom or the senior party, the concerts, sporting events, and everything else, but I'm never going to walk through those halls as a student again. Ever. I'm never going to walk past Mr. B's room and have him wave at me through the window, or smell the cafeteria on pizza roll day, or listen to the security guard yelling at kids after catching them vaping in the bathrooms. All that weird, random stuff you take for granted. We were just sitting in class one day in March, and it was all gone. without warning. We never got the chance to adjust or make our peace with it. That this was the end. And because of that, I feel like a part of me is always going to be stuck back here. If that sounds lame, I apologize. But even if it's insignificant in the face of everything that's happened in the world over the last few months, it still matters to me.
Well, this is it. Graduation day. Or at least it was supposed to be. They think the actual ceremony is going to go down sometime later this summer, so at least we'll have some sort of end to the weirdness of this spring. It's been a weird quarantine. I spent the first half wishing I never heard the word social distancing and wanting nothing more than to see people. Well, Ryan. And after he dumped me, I was social distancing harder than anyone out there. They're only just now asking the seniors what teacher they want to do the commencement speech. Whoever it ends up being, you have to wonder what they're gonna say. All that typical stuff about follow your dreams probably would sound pretty corny after all that's happened these past 3 months. It's scary, not knowing what's gonna happen. People are still getting sick, and they're saying it's gonna be a long time before this is all behind us. What if it comes back and we have to go through this all again? What if someone I know gets sick because we didn't learn enough from the first time around? I've always been a planner. I don't do well with uncertainty. Senior year was supposed to go a certain way. I was supposed to have concerts and recitals. I was supposed to go to prom with Ryan. I was supposed to graduate today, and then Ryan and I would make it work long distance. None of that happened. We've spent the past 3 months not knowing whether the light at the end of the tunnel was coming. And now I'm a high school graduate. Or close enough. And I have no idea what my future looks like or what the hell I'm gonna do with myself anymore. But somehow, I know it's gonna be okay.